Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how we can paint different flowers using miniature size brush. So today I'm going to use these two brushes. This is on the miniature side. The first one is 5 by 0. It is very small brush. As you can see, it's very small and thin brush, we can say. And this one is flat kind of brush. And this is size 2 flat brush of miniature set. So we need to hold our brush like this. When it comes to flat brush, we cannot hold our brush like this. So if you keep your brush like this, you will get better petals for your flowers. So let me show you one example. So first I'm holding my brush in the wrong way, like this. So if you will do some petals, you will get something like this. But if you hold your brush vertically, then you can get some petals like this. You just need to release your brush slowly. You can also move your brush towards left and right. So that is something we can achieve easily through flat brush. Same thing you can also do with the bigger flat brush as well. Now let's start with the first flower. I'm using my 5 by 0 brush. This is very small brush and I'm going to create a hydrogen kind of flower. So it has multiple flowers in it, having 4 petals. So what I'm doing, I'm moving my brush towards left and right to create 4 petals flower. So my one flower having 4 petals in it, and I'm moving my brush towards left and right, and I'm using whole brush. It is not like I'm using only tip of brush. I'm using whole brush because already it is very small, and my color shade is quite light. It is very light purple shade, and when you are doing your petals, you might end up getting multiple shades of purple on the lighter side, which is absolutely fine. So do it like that. We just need to make sure the first layer would be of lighter shade as compared to the second layer. So this is what we are working for the first layer. As you can see, I'm not overlapping anything. I'm just creating my flowers and petals in the round composition. So you can do something like this. And then for the second layer, I'm going to use little dark shade of purple, and I'm going to follow the same process what I did in the first layer. This time I'm also going to do some overlapping between the flowers. I'm creating these dark petals above to the first layer. So obviously you need to do some overlapping. Wherever you are getting a little lighter shade, you can add more dark shade in that particular area, and don't overdo it. When I say overdo it, don't fill the darker flower throughout the round structure. You also need to make sure the lighter layer is also visible, and then with the help of yellow color, add small ovary in between these flowers. And then with the help of flat brush, again we need to hold our brush like this, create stems and leaves. I'm creating a very simple leaves for this particular flower. I'm not sure if these leaves are relevant with the hydrogen or not. So you can create multiple strokes like this. First bigger, then smaller, then smaller. As we are going downward, we are creating a smaller stroke and combining these things together to create a one single leaf. As you can see, I'm not having any negative space in between, and I'm doing it purposefully because I want to keep my leaves a little bit serrated, but it is only one leaf. so that's why I'm not leaving any negative space. And then with the help of little darker node of green shade, I'm adding more stroke, I'm adding more texture into the leaves. We are done with the first flower. Now the second one is inspired by the forget me not flower. So this time I'm using this flat brush. Look at my brush, how I'm holding this, and I'm creating 5 petals for one single flower. These petals are attached with each other. As you can see, there is no negative space, but we can clearly see all the 5 petals together. And I'm also keeping one small negative space in between to create ovary. You can keep the petal size little bit smaller and bigger to create different perspective of the flower, but it's totally up to you. Now compose your flower into 2 different groups. I'm creating little lighter node of blue and darker node of blue. It's totally fine, whatever you want to do. And then let it dry for some time. Meanwhile, we can create some one stroke leaves using flat brush. So this time I'm just dragging my brush towards left and right, extending little bit so that I can get little longer leaves. And then in between stems and leaves you can paint. Add more leaves, more stems, these kind of things you can do. And then with the help of yellow green color, this is more towards yellow and less towards green, I am creating the ovary of the flower. So first I'm filling the negative space with the yellow, and then I'm adding little dot of dark shade. I'm using violet color, you can use black as well. So these detailing are sometimes important, so do it very carefully. And we are done with the second one as well. Now let's create third one, which is inspired by the lavender flowers. So I'm using lavender color for the third one. This is not exactly like a lavender flower, but inspired by that we can say. And I'm using 5x0 small brush and creating these small petals left and right in a sequence. The bigger petals are in the lower end and the smaller petals are in the upper end. And then with the help of clean water you can wash the petals a little bit and add more petals in between with the lighter node and arrange all these things like this. Let's create one more. So adding visible petals first with the darker shade. You can keep the shades lighter, darker randomly, and then with the help of dabbed brush just try to bleed the color a little bit and get a little bushier kind of shape so that we can assume it like it has multiple flowers in it. And then with the help of green color add stems. I'm keeping a green tone at the bottom of the flower, and then with the help of flat brush like we did in the second one, this time I'm creating little longer leaves. Keeping it simple, I'm not doing anything fancy in here. And we are done with the third flower as well. Now I can show you one more flower using this smaller brush. So first with the help of flat brush I'm just creating a round kind of shape you can say, or maybe tulip kind of structure you can say. And I'm not thinking too much about shape, I'm just adding these pattern with the help of pink color. You can keep the lighter node first, but little bit dark shade is also fine. Create bunch of these structure. And then with the help of a smaller brush, once the first layer gets dried, we need to add small petals in it to make it little bushier and to make it look like it has multiple small flowers in it. So I'm just adding more strokes with the help of darker note of pink, and I'm covering the whole area with the help of small petal kind of structure to make it little bushier. And I'm going to repeat this process throughout all the oval shape or round shape, whatever you want to say it. Just repeating the same thing. It is little bit tedious task because we are using very small brush here, and the flower size is also very small. Okay, now let's add stems. So I'm adding straight stems for all the flowers, and I'm also going to add a little bit of sepal kind of structure at the bottom of each flower, and adding more sub stems in between, keeping it quite simple, doing nothing fancy in here. And I think that is done. We are done with all the 4 flowers. The first flower is little bit looking out of the group, so I'm keeping the shape of stems little longer. And this one we cannot keep any leaves hanging, so you can add more stems, and you can also add little green notes in between, just finishing touch here and there for all the 4 flowers, and we are done. So hope you have liked this video, and thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.